Welcome to your guilt-free no. I'm your host, Holly Hughes. Everyone pretty much knows me. I know most everyone here. For those who don't know me, I'm an intuitive healer and an author. My gifts include knowing and feeling things that I can't possibly know or feel, and it's just how I work. And today I'm going to share my screen. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about how to say no. And when we say no to others, how it means saying yes to us. And I think it's super important to remember or think about the first time that you ever heard the word no. It was really said out of love and protection. And I want you to reclaim that word, to love and protect yourself. And on that happy note, I'm pulling this up. So this is your guide to a guilt-free no. And like I was saying, it's all about remembering that it's said out of love and protection, right? Like, don't put your hand on the stove, don't run out in the street, all of that really fun, basic stuff. But as we get older, we internalize that as we're not good enough. How come you're denying me? Ouch, it starts to hurt, right? And now a lot of people, especially if they're people pleasers or they don't want to hurt your feelings, you become afraid to say no. My slides are full of comics. I hope you're along for the ride. So I was a Spidey fan. So I want to know how many of you, I'm going to try to see the gallery. If you can wave your hand, how many of you are nervous about no? A little bit afraid to upset someone's feelings, maybe make waves at work. Possibilities. They're endless. Lots and lots. My screen is bugging me. Okay, so we're going to tackle that, and I'm going to give you, honest to goodness, 10 tips on how that you can start saying it. So remember, no is said out of love and protection. And this can be super simple. If we have some time after, if you want to bring up any places where you have a hard time saying no in a specific time, let me know, and we can role play and do it there. But really, you're saying no because some part of you doesn't want to do it. It doesn't feel right. It's not aligned with who you are in business or personal life, and it's okay to say no. I used to be a massive people pleaser. As a formal people pleaser, I couldn't even say no when people would give me things I didn't want. My very famous story is about a cup of coffee. Someone I worked with would give me coffee and I didn't like it and I didn't want it, but I was afraid if I said no, I would upset them and hurt their feelings and they wouldn't like me, and how would I deal with work every day? And I was literally 9 months in my hour-plus commute back and forth. I was how do I tell them to stop getting me this coffee? And finally I was I don't like this. Can you? No, thank you. And they're oh, they didn't care. So sometimes we're creating a story that's just not true. So how's another way to say no? You don't have to answer right away. Most of the communication nowadays isn't exactly direct, right? Not many people, unless you're a Gen Xer like me, like to pick up the phone. It's a text or an email, or someone's asking you through social media to do a favor. So you don't have to answer right away. You take the time to evaluate what's going on with you and if you want to really do it. If it starts causing you anxiety, just even being asked to do something, you could do a box breath. So you just breathe in for the count of 4 and out for 8. If you're not able to take in that long of a breath, you can cut that in half. But that is known to calm your nervous system, and so that you can make a choice in a different place. Next, evaluate their needs along with your own. Ask yourself, do they really need your help, or do they ask you for help because you always say yes? That happens a lot at work, or even sometimes with family and family obligations, right? That's a dynamic that's pretty typical. Do you want to help? Did someone ask you to do something, but you already have plans and you suddenly feel guilty that you have plans? No, it's you're not available. It's really just cut and dry, and the emotionality, we can start taking that out of it. Okay, this one is for my empaths. So when someone asks you for help and you can feel they're hurting or they need something, just because you feel it doesn't mean it's yours to heal. So you have to also evaluate, is this something I can emotionally take on? Or sometimes, especially if they know that you're emotional, the person asking for the favor knows they can manipulate your feelings. And now they're looking to do that to get what they need and their needs met, or they're using you. That's also a possibility. Okay, if you're still wondering what to do when you say no, you have to ask yourself, if I say no, are they going to be hurt? physically? Are they hanging off a cliff, like my favorite K-dramas, holding on with one arm and you're like, do you need help? Yes, I'm going to reach down and help you. Or is it really a drama you don't want to get involved in? Are they going to be hurt in any way physically? Most times, like 9.99 times out of 10, they're going to be fine and you don't need to help them. If you have a hard time verbalizing the word no, just text it. You can keep it really short. Sorry, no thank you, not available. You don't need a story because that's where they hook you in your story. Oh, well, if this time isn't good, how about 5 minutes later? How about tomorrow? But we're really about empowering you and creating a boundary for no. Okay. The next way to successfully say no is you have to be polite and firm, and you have to believe it yourself. If I said, well, I don't think so, right? You're trying to be the nice no, and nice no's, they don't work, especially if the person is used to getting their way. A nice no isn't a no at work. There's like one of my favorite people on TikTok right now, and she does the corporate version of how to tell people off. Do you guys know her? Shake your head if you do or don't. If you don't, I'm going to put a link of her there because she's hysterical. She's like, how do you say F off politely at work? No, I'm not going to do your job for you. They're like, oh, my current job description doesn't include that. Could you please explain further why you're unable to handle your own duties? I don't know. However she says it, I find it hysterical. So you got to believe what you're saying. And again, if you can't articulate the words, feel free to text. Sorry, can't. Don't do what I'm doing right now. Don't go on and on, right? That again hooks into story. If you are trying to say it too nicely to someone who wants to get their way, especially if it's a narcissist, they will take your kindness and use it against you. Be honest with yourself. If you really do or don't want to do something, just say it. So let's just say someone's like, hey, come over and clean the litter box. The answer is going to be no. No one likes doing that job. And I also think if you're honest with yourself, it's easy to evaluate. If you need to pretend to be someone else while delivering the message until you're used to it, I'm down with that too. That kind of has to go with my playlist that I'm going to give you all, right? Like sometimes you just gotta have a theme song that's going to make you be your badass bitch self is really what I like to say. So go that way. Number 10, this is really important. Sometimes if someone's going to ask you for a favor, they might be asking you on a day that you have plans. Just because they need help, that doesn't mean it's more important if that is your downtime, if that's your rest and relax time, if that's your K-pop, K-drama hour, like whatever it is, that little joyful thing in your life. If it's your nail appointment, it doesn't matter if it is something that you can easily change to accommodate them. I want you to know and respect yourself enough to know that you deserve your downtime and they can wait and they can get help somewhere else. Now, one of the really tricky things that I'd like to talk about is why doesn't your no, the way you deliver it now, work? One reason. There's no consequence, and a consequence is a boundary. It doesn't have to be a loud, mean, cruel thing. It doesn't have to be an argument. But if you say no and they cross the boundary, they need to know they crossed the boundary and there's a consequence. No, I don't want to do it. Well, you did it for, your friend the other day. Yes, I did. But that's really not your business. And my answer is no. So hard to do when you're being nice. I'm just going to say it, right? So you have to really be in your own power and know your own worth and be in charge of your own voice. Super, super important to do that.